Sigma males occupy the top position in the socio-sexual hierarchy, right next to alpha males, but kind of outside the box, or in this case, outside the pyramid. They live by their own rules and they never walk with the herd. Welcome to Viral Brain, where we focus on the psychology of personality. Be sure to like and subscribe so you can be notified whenever we release new content. In this video, we're going to reveal the top 12 rules for Sigma males. The rules will be divided into two sections. The first one will discuss rules Sigma males live by, and the second will reveal rules you should follow when dealing with a Sigma male. So, let's get into it. Rule number 1. Sigmas don't follow rules. I know this kind of destroys the point of the whole video, but hear me out. They don't follow rules just because they're there. They question everything and think for themselves, designing a personal code they live by which they spent a lot of time and effort developing. They absolutely hate the word tradition and never do things they find pointless just because their parents and their grandparents used to do them. For example, a Sigma male wouldn't steal, not because of law or he's afraid to go to prison, but because his personal code says that taking from other people with no right to do so is wrong. And if their code doesn't include that, they can skew away from the law. You may find that the majority of male college dropouts are Sigmas because they logically break down the value they're getting from college versus the time, money, and effort they invest in it. And if the equation doesn't balance, they will leave. They don't do something just because their parents and peers say it's the right thing to do. They have to be convinced for themselves. Rule number 2. Sigmas put themselves first. Even though Sigma males can fit well into society and can be sensitive and sympathetic, they always put their goals and happiness over everyone and everything else. Altruism is among the least likely virtues you'd find in a Sigma male, and they're not afraid to admit that. You'd find them saying something like, "I'd love to make my parents proud, but I gotta put myself first." Rule number 3. Sigmas never trust anyone until they earn their trust. Law says the suspect is innocent until proven guilty. Sigmas say everyone is guilty until proven innocent. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying all Sigmas have trust issues. I'm saying that they don't trust people just because some other people trust them, or because that's the polite thing to do. They value their trust and respect, and they feel like it has to be earned. Which takes us to rule number 4. Sigmas strive for complete independence. Because of their distrust towards people, they always feel like they need to survive on their own. For example, you'll always find that Sigma males have multiple income streams, or at least they have a plan B and C if their current income stream fails for any reason. A Sigma employee works at a company because he likes to, not because he needs to. The idea of living off the grid is extremely appealing to them. They'd love to live in a house that runs on solar energy, growing their own food, and making their own resources, because they don't even want to depend on the government for providing these things. Rule number 5. Sigmas are brutally honest. People lie to make themselves look better, to hide a mistake or a failure they've made, or to protect someone's feelings and spare their pain. Sigmas don't really care about any of these things, so they just don't have a reason to lie. They have pragmatic views on life, and they don't sugarcoat stuff to make it sound better. They tell it like it is, and if it hurts someone, well, too bad. It's still the truth. They have a mindset that goes, the only reason there has to be a guy who tells children Santa doesn't exist is the guy who told them Santa does. They hate television and propaganda, and they often try to educate people to think for themselves, ask questions, and find out the truth. Rule number 6. Sigmas never give up. Life just cannot break a Sigma male, and that's a fact. It doesn't matter what happens, it doesn't matter how hard the going gets, and it doesn't matter how many times they fall. They will always find a way back up and adapt. Sigma males are the best natural survivors out of all the male personality archetypes. It's very common for Sigmas to make a bold career shift or move to a foreign country and thrive in their new place quickly and easily. And while an alpha might quickly think of delegating tasks if it gets too complicated or time-consuming, a sigma would take it upon himself to adapt and learn the skills he needs to get the job done adequately and by himself. Okay, so those are the rules sigmas follow. And now it's time for the rules to follow when dealing with a sigma. Rule number 1. Understand that they can give up companionship if it stands in the way of their goals. This doesn't come from an antisocial mentality or introvertism, but the fact that they're hyper-aware that companionship comes with responsibilities, which might slow them down. The way they think about it is, having a fulfilling relationship can make them satisfied with their life enough that they don't strive to achieve great things, but if they're alone, all their energy will be focused on themselves. This is a priceless piece of information if you think your partner has commitment issues. By the end of this video, if you determine that he's a sigma male, chances are they're not really commitment issues. It's the fact that he's scared you might weigh him down, and this is actually a sign that he truly cares about you and is starting to see you as a part of his future. Think about it. It's cheaper and more efficient to travel alone, to live alone. Sigma males value their own time and resources above anything else, and getting into a relationship means giving up a massive portion of this time and resources. So, what to do about it? Rule number 2. Give them space. Sigma males are born to be free, so whether it's a friendship or a relationship, don't make them feel confined. It might take time, but if you convince a sigma male that your relationship is adding to him rather than taking from him, they're the most loyal and devout personality archetype. Unlike the alpha male who might seek continuous validation by being with multiple partners, or beta males who are likely to have numerous short-term relationships due to indecisiveness, sigma males are characterized by being in 2 or 3 very serious relationships in their entire lifetime. They have a meticulous, almost scientific approach to choosing a life partner. Rule number 3. Never give a sigma a direct order. You know those guys who stand up and start walking to the kitchen to do the dishes, and on their way you call for them from the other room, "Hey, you still haven't done the dishes yet? Go do them right now." And they go, "Well, now I'm not gonna do it." Yeah, these are sigma males. Whether you're their partner, friend, or boss, avoid practicing authorities over sigma males, because there's nothing they hate more. And I'm not saying you should just allow them to do whatever they want whenever they want. Instead, try to find persuasive ways and appeal to reason with their own personal interest in mind, while also giving them responsibility. And also give them a proper time window to finish the task. Something like, "Hey, can you please do the dishes before 5 because that's when I finish work, and I'll start cooking immediately because we're both going to be starving?" Rule number 4. Never allow a fight with a sigma male to last too long. With an alpha, it might be your best bet to take a couple of days after a big fight to calm down and start thinking clearly, but with a sigma, no. Like I said, sigmas value their time and energy above everything, and they hate wasting it on fights. So the longer time you spent not on the best terms, the more frustrated he gets. They want to resolve the issue now so they can go back to enjoying life and being productive. And they always think, if you could spend 3 days without talking to me, you might as well spend 3 more weeks or years. If it's up to a sigma, they'd never fight or argue, and they'd love to have a peaceful and loving relationship. But misunderstanding happens, and fights are a normal part of any relationship. So you need to help each other navigate through it quickly if you don't want it to become a big deal. Rule number 5. You have to keep them interested. I hate to be the one breaking this to you, but sigma males will leave if they lose interest, and they lose interest fast. At work, keep them intellectually stimulated with new and challenging tasks, and give them space to grow and carry more responsibility. And in a relationship, try to come up with new date ideas and suggest new things to try out in bed. If you capitalize on this, you can actually play it to your advantage, because sigmas are some of the most efficient workers and devout partners. Rule number 6. Sigmas are more likely to be paranoid than any of the other male archetypes. This is due to their general distrust in people and their view that most people are either incompetent, so they're not a reliable source of information, or they're straight out dishonest. It's also because of how much time they spend alone. Sigmas are the least dependent on society, and this often leads to them making a living out of individual tasks like writing, programming, or graphic designing. They're into the creative side of things, and this results in them spending a lot of thinking time, and it can sometimes be dangerous to let your thoughts creep up on you. So if you ever feel like a Sigma doesn't fully trust you, don't be offended. It's just the way they think. You need to understand that this is a struggle for them, because many of them are aware they might sometimes be paranoid, and they actively fight these thoughts away. So make sure you take their side and be understanding, and with time, this will probably fade. This is it for our video on Sigma male rules, the ones they live by and the ones to follow when dealing with one. If you felt like this video had some eye-opening insights, give it a like. And let us know whether you're a Sigma male or if you know someone who is in the comments section below.